510 hit post. I mean signpost.
作戦は
空の能力を使って境内に潜伏。3人が現れたら都の能力で記憶を読む。
犯人だと確定できたらアーティファクトを奪って無力化するだね。
ああ、もし気づかれた場合は。
私の出番ね。
ああ、その時は頼む。さっさと空に能力使ってもらって境内で待機するか。
先に予防線張っておきたいのですが。
どうした？
今朝気づいたんだけど、人数増えるほど効果薄れる気がする。4人もいるから厳しい？全く効果なしにはならないと思うけど、1人か2人にかけた時よりもかなり弱くなると思う。補助のエンチャント範囲化すると効果がその分弱まる。そうそう、そんな感じです。だから能力があるからって油断してるとあっさり見つかったりするかも。
なるほどな。もしもの時は空自身と都優先で頼む。
ミアは？
解除しちまえ。俺は男たちどうにでもなる。勇気も強いだろ。
そうね、問題ない。
じゃあ行こう。都もよろしくな。
頑張るね。
We start walking into the shrine grounds. Damn, it's been a hot minute since episode 1, hasn't it? the team dynamic, I guess. Without Haruka, I guess, very different. I mean, obviously, there's one less person. We only get a few steps in before realizing that Yuki isn't budging from where she stands, and so we turn around. But, you know, I'm just thinking, it is Yuki's fault, it is Noah's fault that Miyako died in the first route of the first game. Because if she never accused Kakeru of being the killer, the evil eye user, then Miyako never would have used her powers on him, and he never would have realized that she killed that guy who used the fire artifact, and then she never would have become more independent and found out that Yoichi was the evil eye user and tried to confront him before turning to stone. But then again, it is also Noah's fault as well that it's Noah's fault in the first timeline that Miyako died, and it's thanks to Noah in the second route that they started dating.
どうした？
一つだけ。
うん。
九条さんの盾になってあげるつもりはない。あなたが私の能力を確認しないまま私を信頼したふりをしているのは単純にデコイが欲しかったから。私の力なんて最初から当てにしていない。そうでしょ？
Install memories. You're wrong. I do. I do know your abilities.
どうしたの？
いや、悪い。なんでもない。デコイとは思っていない。俺には戦う力がないからな。戦闘になったら勇気の力が必要になる。戦力として頼りにしてる。
悪いけれど私はまだあなたを信用していない。
分かってる。もし俺が怪しい動きをしてみせたら好きにしてくれていい。
言われるまでもなくそのつもり。あなたが悪ならば私が裁く。話は以上。行きましょう。
一つ聞いていいか？
何？
結城はよく裁くって言葉を使うけど、具体的にどうするんだ？もし魔眼のユーザー石化事件の犯人と出会ったのなら。
相応の罰を与える。
どんな罰？
さあね、相手次第。
相手が罪を悔いていたりしたら手加減するってことか？
その質問の意図は何？そんなことを聞いてどうするの？
覚悟を知りたい。 いざって時におじけづかれたら全滅だ。相手が罪悪感をかけらも抱かず人殺しをできるようなやつで、俺たちのことも殺そうとしたのなら結城はそいつを殺せるか？殺すつもりで戦えるか？
必要であればそうする。
ちなみに
しつこい。まだあるの？
必要に迫られたことはあるのか？悪人を殺したことが。
くだらない。
She spits out the words with a sigh. All I'm gonna say is, I wished I had as good of a memory as all of these fucking guys that, well, Kakeru's different, but I'm talking about guys from like regression manhwa that have lived a full life and fucking go back to when they were a kid and somehow remember everything that happened throughout their life. And in Kakeru's case, he is trying to like juggle different pieces of information that he should only know from certain routes so that he doesn't mix up what he should and shouldn't know from this specific route. Unless, you know, that's not what's unless, you know, that isn't actually what's happening. And what am I trying to say? I mean, you get what I mean, right? Essentially, Kakeru can't say anything that he knows about Noah from episode 2 or 3 because that hasn't happened yet. In the same vein, he can't say anything to Noah about episode 1 and 3 in episode 2 that he didn't know from episode 2 or from any part from any point before he goes to that part of the timeline. Right? I'm using the end of episode 1 and very close to the start of episode 2 as examples because these are very two different things, but kind of the same. Because while Kakeru knows more about Noah in episode 2, at the point that we went back to, it is probably around the same amount of information that we would have known about him, that we would have known about Noah. It'd be the same amount of information as at the end of episode 1, right? What am I trying to say? Regardless, I wish I could install memories into my brain too. One, you know, piece of information that I forgot. She spits out the words with a sigh, but the look on her face changes for a split second. Yeah, it changed to a new sprite. Is that disgust? It may have only been for a second, but Yuki rarely ever breaks her stoic demeanor to show any form of emotion. Maybe she really is averse to the act of killing. Considering Yuki respects justice above all else, I can see that being the case. Here. But just like Sophie said, even if she opposes killing, I still can't say for sure if she was prepared to do it back in that other timeline. She was acting extremely strange back then. Opposed might not carry enough weight to accurately describe it. Maybe traumatized is more fitting? Who would have guessed? Yuki didn't answer my last question. Could it be that she's already killed someone and it psychologically scarred her? If that's so, then...
ちょっとニーニ、何してんの？
ああ。
助っ人の人行っちゃったよ。
俺たちも行こう。
いや、そりゃ行くよ。あんたを待ってたんだよ。
悪い。考
え事？
ちょっとな。大丈夫。大したことじゃない。
Also, the thing... why I'm not referring to What am I gonna say? Like, how am I gonna say this? When I'm saying I wish I have his memory, I wish I had as good of a memory as him, and I'm not talking about what is happening in the timeline, is because what is happening in the timeline is probably fresh in his mind, right? And that's kind of the thing in the front of his mind, and then you install those memories, and it's still fresher, I guess. I don't know. Then the new memories installed or whatever. I followed you after Yuki before Sora starts digging any deeper. I catch up with Yuki, who's standing near the gate, and line up next to her. The Evil Eye's user, Yoichi, isn't here. No reason for me to be too cautious, but if I change my conduct too much, then I might end up adding a new branch for no reason.
どこに隠れる?
Don't worry, you'll be fine. You only add a new branch when I get given the choice, okay?
ソラ、能力は?
もう使ってる。大きい声で話したらあっさりバレるかも。
了解。ひとまずここから移動して橋の方に。
I mean, I say that as a joke, but that's actually the case. Because I, as the player, am the 9th user, and I directly influence Kageru through my choices. It's not just a... it's not... I'm not just an invisible force. Oh, well, I am, but... an invisible force outside of the game that is dictating what Kakeru does. Right?
待って。どうしました?
Yuki silently points. I'm an invisible force from inside the game. Technically. Dictating what Kakeru does and doesn't do. There's a noticeably darker shadow in the blackness. The third victim.
もういる? どうしよう。落ち着いて。まだこちらに気づいた様子はない。
あっち側からゆっくり近づこう。
I try to retrace the words and actions in my memories as much as possible. I already know what's happened, but even so, I can't keep myself composed. I ended up finding out he wasn't a bad guy. And even though we didn't even become acquainted in this branch, my heart still aches.
ミーヤ、これ以上近づきたくないかも。
わかった。
この辺りでしばらく様子を見ようか。
そうだな。そうし。
Yuki moves before I can finish my sentence. I wonder if this slight change in behavior is within the margin of safety. After all, my speech has already been subtly different.
二人はここにいてくれ。
でも。
大丈夫。ソラ、頼む。
ほいほい。
I chase after Yuki. I get closer step by step. The features of the shadow start to gradually get clearer. It is unfortunate. A male statue. No doubt about it, this Takamine. It is a shame. And I bet all Vrenyu was trying to do was help Yoichi, and, well, he's collateral now. He's collateral in episode 1. Takamine is dead.
知り合い?
No.
いや、違う。
そう?
Yuki observes the statue calmly. Cough. Never mind. Wait, no. Yuki isn't composed either. She's been clenching her fists so tight that it's shaking. She's trying to be her usual self by hiding her intense emotions and playing things cool.
Memo?
Yuki finds a piece of paper and picks it up.
ダイイングメッセージ。
You got me. I'm the evil eye user, swearsies.
いえ、違う。これは、遺書ね。
俺にも読ませてくれ。
I take the note that she silently passes to me. I feel as though I'm being crushed under the weight of my sins. Before I lose my mind, I'm turning myself to stone and putting an end to it all.
そのメモを素直に信じるのならば、罪の意識に耐えかねて自分で自分を石にしたということになる。つまりこの男が石化の能力者。
If I deny her hypothesis, it'll probably end up making a new branch. Yeah, but like, is that a bad thing? Because like, we haven't seen any ramifications from creating a new branch, especially since in episode 3 he went all fucking willy-nilly creating all sorts of branches while he was dying from Iris, you know. Well, it was only 3 times, but you know, that's a lot more than any other time he's done this. But that's not really a good idea.
3人目の犠牲者は犯人自身ってことか。
そんな。
I hear Miyako's voice and turn around. Sora is with her, and they're looking down at the statue in astonishment.
これ、どういうこと？この人、高坂先輩の記憶に神社で会っていた。推測自体は当たっていたというわけね。
Yuki squats down and looks at the man's face.
あっけない幕引き。罪の意識に押しつぶされるのならば、初めから犯罪など犯さなければいいのに、この男はしっかりと裁かれるべきだった。自分だけ楽に行くなんて。
She spits, then stands up. Her voice sounds as disinterested as usual, and maybe it's because I noticed the emotion she tried to hide earlier, but I can hear a strong tinge of resentment in her comment.
私の仕事はこれで終わりね。
ああ。
契約通り、報酬は支払ってもらう。1週間分。
わかってる。
それじゃ。
Turning back, Yuki walks off. Miyako and Sora can't even watch her walk away, as their eyes are glued to the petrified Takamine in disbelief.
幕引き。本当に、これで終わり？石像の記憶を読むのは、さすがに無理？ダメみたい。そっか。これでもう、誰も死なない？そうだね。でも、たとえ犯人自身でも、また死人が出てしまった。素直に、喜べない。
そら。
うん。初めて見たけど、なんか、これが人って実感が。
そんな実感持たなくていい。宮子と2人で先生のところに行ってくれ。
さつきちゃん？
ああ。あと警察にも連絡を。
かけるくんは？
こいつを調べる。
じゃあ、私も。
いや、先生ん家で休んでてくれ。
行こう、宮子先輩。
Sora takes Miyako's hand and leaves the area. I wait until the two are out of sight and peer into Takamine's face. It's tranquil. Extremely tranquil. I turn my eyes to the note. I feel as though I'm being crushed under the weight of my sins. Before I lose my mind, I'm turning myself to stone and putting an end to it. To it all. Confession of guilt. And this is a suicide note to pin the crimes on Takamine. Yuichi framed and killed Takamine in order to stop us. Especially Miyako and her memory reading powers. from investigating the murders any further. That's the natural conclusion for me to draw, but I suddenly wonder if Takamine was actually murdered. Takamine said without an ounce of hesitation that nothing would turn him against Yoichi. Not even learning that his childhood friend was a murderer made him break that stance. In fact, when it was uncovered that Yoichi was the user of the evil eye, Takamine wasn't fazed by the revelation at all. Knowing Takamine, he probably would accept his own death in similar stride. Well, if Yoichi so desires, that is, like I said, they're fucking gay. He probably wrote that suicide note on his own without even needing to be coerced. That's probably why he has such a tranquil expression on his face. He sacrificed himself for his boyfriend. At least, that's what I'm left to assume. After all, the Evil Eye's user committed suicide. Or, at least, that's the conclusion Yoichi set up. Okay, all I'm going to say is, I understand that the artist probably didn't want to redo these CGs. Because, you know, even though they're going back through these scenes, it's more work to redo the CG, not like update the art, because it hasn't been that long since the first game. Hang on, let me think. Because the first game came out, what, 2019 or so? So, yeah, it hasn't been that long. But, like, I'm saying, you know, add Takamine's face to the CG or something like that, right? That'd be pretty cool. But yeah, I guess it's fine. Yuichi probably isn't going to be clumsy enough to have his crimes come to light again. Even so, I'll be able to expose Yuichi's identity since I have my memories from different branches. But I can't consider that a good idea. Even if we manage to make it to Iris, I'd just be digging my own grave, since we don't have Kosaka's aid in this branch. We don't stand a chance against Iris unless we can get the boost from Senpai's power. We'd get pulverized and that'd be that. Plus, Yuki doesn't trust us at all in this branch, so getting to know more about her, it seems like it'd be difficult. But please, please let me bag Miyako at least one more time before we change branches. Please, at least once, okay? Yeah, and then after that, you know, after that you can go back, right? It's already canon that you do it again in never mind. I had kind of hoped it'd be one of those cases where she would listen exactly because she doesn't trust us, but I wouldn't say I gained nothing from all this, but I can't say that it proved effective. I take a short breath and stand.
Sophie, いるか?
もちろん。
Sophie appears from a rift immediately after I call for her. This is the end. I should wander around so that a branch doesn't split for no reason. No! We don't get to fuck Miyako. Okay, look, all I'm gonna say is, wouldn't his interaction with Noah inadvertently create another timeline? I mean, branch? I guess not if I'm not in the timeline. It doesn't count until it doesn't count unless there's unless there's another scene. All right, rising to action. You know, I was hoping it'd be less linear. And, well, considering that nothing from this time, this branch was mentioned in this one, that means that all three of them, I gathered you'd have to go through all three of them after the second one. And to date this recording session, I saw the comment from Byte that they are in fact linear, even past this point. So first of all, fuck you. And second of all, fuck you for for not even letting me get my hopes up. Or I should say thank you. 5-3. It'd been about 40 minutes or so since they left. Just as the sky turns totally dark, Kosaka and Yuki return to my place ahead of the others. Yeah, I remember that line. I can't fucking say just as the sky without stumbling over my own words. They plopped down a bag filled with an assortment of snacks and drinks.
空と九条は？
肉が高かったと。
え？肉？
別のお店の方が安いかもって。だから私たちだけ先に帰ってきた。
ああ、節約。
彼女っていつもああなの？
倹約家なんだよ。
意外ね。コロナグループの令状なのに。いいお嫁さんになりそう。
かも。
新見さんは九条さんみたいな。
ん？
いいえ。トイレ借りても。
ああ、いいですよ。どうぞ。
ありがとうございます。
In this instance, right, Takeru bringing up anything about Noah, he's probably safe talking about most things regarding Noah compared to the start of episode 2 and the end of episode 1, right? So, you know, the comment of wishing that I had as good of memory as him doesn't really apply here. Senpai exits the living room, and Yuki sits down right across from me.
ピザは？
あと15分くらいじゃねえかな。さっき頼んだばっか。早すぎると冷めるし。
そう。帰り道、はるかに相談をされた。
何を？ってそれは聞いちゃダメか。
詳しく話すつもりはないけれど、はるかは使い物にならないかもしれない。
え？
怯えている。自分の力に。
自分の？どうして？
いえ、聞かなかったことにして。少しおせっかいが過ぎた。ただ、失敗が許されないミッションなら、はるかは外すべきだと思う。
本人がそう言ってたのか？
いいえ。
だったら言われた通り、聞かなかったことにする。
そう。
不満か？
同意していたら見損なっていた。
試したのかよ。
そう。どうかしら。
Yuki chuckles nonchalantly. Normally I would have given up on trying to deal with her and just awkwardly laugh back, but why are you setting up for your memories to be installed? It's not like you're gonna know that. Never mind. Fucking whatever. He just knew that his memories would come back. Well, the new memories would be installed or whatever.
何？
聞きたいことあったのを思い出した。
私に？
そう。勇気の力についてまだ知らなかったなって。
Oh yeah, the other thing as to why it would be safe to talk to Noah about a lot of things is because now in this timeline she is aware that he can do this or whatever. He can gain he can pick fucking pieces of knowledge from other branches in the timeline.
G オーダーの。
まだ信頼できないか？俺たちのこと。
そういうわけじゃないけれど。
だったら教えてくれないか。みんなが戻ってきてからでもいいけど。
話せない。
どうして？
かっこいいから。
はい？
秘密にした方がかっこいい。
Don't use that hand motion, especially because it's under the text box. What the hell is she talking about? Looking all smug.
かっこいい？
そう。できる限りもったいぶりたい。
そんな理由で隠してたの？信頼できないとかじゃなくてもったいぶりたいから？ってお前悪びれもせずって大事な局面なんですけど、今からラスボスと戦いに行くぞっていう最終局面なんですけど。
言われなくても分かってる。
じゃあ話せよ。
なぜ？
なぜ？
話す必要がある？
そりゃあるだろう。みんなと連携を取るためにも。
G オーダーの力を離したところで連携は取れない。これは私のみで完結した力。誰かを巻き込むこともない。だから話す必要はない。
まあそこまで言いたくないなら。
ただおちゃらけずに正直に打ち明けると。
おちゃらけ？今の勇気なりの冗談だったのか。
そういうの声に出さない方がいいと思うけど。
はい、すみません。続けてください。
信頼していないわけじゃない。G オーダーのことを話してもいいけれど、他者の主観が入ってしまうことを極力避けたいの。
他者の主観？
G オーダーの発動条件はとても不確かなの。だから私なりの基準を作っている。他者からこれなら発動できるでしょと働きかけられて、もし私がその言葉に流されて基準を曲げてしまったら。
Your fucking artifact like fucking Nen? What do you mean? This isn't Hunter x Hunter, bro.
最悪暴走するとかか。
そうね。そう解釈してもらっていい。
なるほどな。こっちの動きを数分止めたり他のこともできるんだろ。
Or are you saying that because you're trying to hide the fact that your mental state is so unstable that if you try to think of any other way to activate the powers, both of the two ways you think of activating the powers would collide with each other and you wouldn't be able to actually use them? The power.
かなりの応用力のある力って印象なんだが、発動条件をどう満たすかによって効果も変わるって感じか。
少し違うけれど、そう思ってもらっていい。 G オーダーはとても強力だから、トリガーを誰かに委ねたくない。
わかった。もう無理に聞かない。ただ最後に一つだけいいか。
答えられる質問なら。
今回うまくいけばイーリスと戦わずに済むが、あまり楽観視もできない。戦うことになると想定しておいた方がいい。けどあまり悲観的にもなりたくない。もしチャンスがあるのなら俺はイーリスを倒す。いや、ちゃんと言う。殺したいと。そう思ってる。勇気はどうだ？
イーリスを野放しにすれば、私たちだけじゃなく、この町の世界中の人々が死ぬ。そうでしょ？
ああいつはそのつもりだ。
説得できる相手とも思えない。改心するとはとても。ならばやるしかないわね。私たちで神を滅する。
She says that with conviction. Her eyes are filled with determination. At least, that's how it looks to me. It's just like Sophie said. Yuki is already prepared to do what needs to be done. Nevertheless, what happened back there with her being unable to move. Maybe she just reached her physical limit after all. Or maybe... I was hoping that with a little luck, I could solve the problem and proceed to beat Iris. But it doesn't seem like this will be going that smoothly. Simpa comes back into the room, looking somewhat apologetic.
すみません、お話中に。
戻るタイミング伺ってました？
はい。真面目な雰囲気だったので。
すみません。気を使わせちゃって。
ただいま。たったいま。
お、空たちも帰ってきた。おかえり。
ただいま。ごめんね、遅くなっちゃった。もうね、みゃーこ先輩主婦。周辺の安い店把握してる。完全に主婦。ごめんね、付き合わせちゃって。高坂先輩も結城先輩もすみません。荷物持ってもらっちゃって。そのために同行したのだから気にしないで。
With everyone assembled, we can get this party started. In a few hours' time, we'll have to fight Iris. I feel bad for everyone else, but it's probably a good idea if I don't tell any of them that I know what will be happening after this. If Iris managed to find that out, then she might try to do something I wouldn't expect and split off another branch. And I want to be able to read what she'll do in order to avoid the worst possible outcome too. I might not be able to change the results, even if we keep going down this path. Still, I at least need to prevent Yuki from getting killed. After all, I can start things over even if she does die. I'm going to do whatever it takes to seize the best possible future, even if it's not perfect. Even if I have to fuck Noah to do even if I have to fuck Noah to do it. Alright, we're going back.
おかえりなさい。新しい枝のおかげで情報を正確に共有できて助かるわ。常に監視しているなんてカケルには言っていたけれど、実際はかなり甘かったのよね。手抜きしていたわけじゃないわよ。あの子が悪人じゃないことは早々に分かっていたから、四六時中張り付く必要はないってそう判断したの。でも今は抜かりないわよ。ちゃんとあの子の行動は全て記録している。つまりあなたがどんな干渉を行ったかもしっかり把握できているというわけ。意思疎通が難しい以上、こちらでできるフォローは可能な限りさせてもらうわ。反応が薄い相手に得意げに語っても虚しいだけね。そもそも本当に私の声聞こえてる？実は聞こえていなくて一人で喋っていたなんてオチだと、さすがの私も涙目になるわよ。ま、いいわ。いろいろ試していたようだけど、ノアの問題を解決するには至らなかったみたいね。
Well, maybe if you didn't make the game so linear, I wouldn't have to look at so many branches.
最低限の干渉でイーリス打倒の運命に導けるのが一番ではあるけれど、手間を惜しんでいる場合ではないわね。じっくり時間をかけてノアと向き合うしかなさそう。あるいはイーリスを倒す別の手段を見つけ出すか。私から提案できるのはそれくらいね。例のごとくやり方は任せるわ。以上、引き続きよろしくね。ナイン。
Cool. Fuck you too. Get flashbanged, idiot. Ah, I see. Finally, starting Noah's route, I guess. $4.17.
かけるな兄貴、持ってきやしたぜ。ほい、絆創膏。
サンキュ。
Starting from the very beginning with Sora's tummy. What a good route. It's already a 10 out of 10.
いって
大丈夫？そんなに深く切った？
いや大丈夫。
大丈夫じゃないじゃん。めっちゃ血出てるじゃん。ほら、使いなよ、絆創膏。
ありがとな。
その前に消毒液使ったら？持ってきてあげたよ。
ありがとうございます。
I splash the disinfectant on the wound and apply the bandage. I still feel a bit disoriented, but I'm starting to get used to the abrupt process of having future memories stuffed into my head all at once. You say that, but look, the you in episode 3 was pretty used to it at that point. Alright, he didn't even react like this. So clearly, it's a muscle memory thing, I guess. Clearly, this version of you isn't used to having future memories installed into your head. Well, actually, unless he's specifically saying future memories, right? So, in this instance, it's a lot more memories going into his head than in episode 3, right? So, maybe it's like that. Granted, this is technically my first time experiencing it. I can imagine using Overlord so much that I lose track of which me is really me, but I don't think it'd really have a side effect that cartoony. Well, here's the thing. Before, I could understand this worry, but now, because I am the actual one with Overlord, this is not a problem. Because we as the player dictate who the real Kakeru is, I guess. Technically. It kind of answers my question. I don't know if that's really the case. Okay, I don't know for sure, so maybe I shouldn't be assuming... Maybe I shouldn't be abusing it just in case. I've seen other people eroded by their stigma. A stigmata, after all.
本当に大丈夫？
Well, here's the thing. Okay, I'm sure you'll be fine. Right? You're just in for the ride. You don't actually have an artifact. Technically.
ちょっと顔色悪い？家で休んでく？
いや大丈夫です。思ったより血が出てビビっただけです。
弱っ。
うっせーな。仁義どうですか？直せそうですか？
どうだろう。完全に壊れちゃったし、ダメだったら紙粘土とかで適当にレプリカ作っておけばいいんじゃない？マジっすか。いいんすかそれで。そう。
フェスはさすがに中止ですかね？
知らないけど2人はもう帰っていいよ。また地震来たら危ないし。ほーい。じゃあ兄やん帰ろっか。
そうだな。
I stand up and take a peek over yonder.
ごめんなさい。今は写真をご遠慮していただけると、まだ地震あるかもしれないので避難を。
I forgot we also get Miyako Tummy too. What a good route. What a good episode. Kuja when cosplay is having an uphill battle with instructing people to evacuate. I guess I should back her up before I head home.
そら、先に行ってろ。
Also, Satsuki, if you ever get the opportunity to communicate with a god, don't let them into your body. Alright, I'm good now. And then, that's the end. You don't need to kill Iris, because she will never have access to Satsuki's body. I know that's not how it works, but it'd be funny if he just, just off the cuff, just says, "Don't accept Iris into your body."
なんで？
最後に一仕事してく。先生、お疲れ様でした。
はーい、お疲れ様。申し訳ありません。写真はご遠慮ください。今は避難を。
すみません。非常時なので避難誘導に従ってください。
新見くん。
ご協力ありがとうございます。あちらにお集まりください。
I cut in on the crowd surrounding Kujo, and they start to disperse, all of them clearly displeased.
それじゃあ俺先に上がるから。お疲れ様。
お疲れ様。ありがとう。
I say my goodbyes to Kujo and leave the shrine. At least, can you at least give me some head before we, start talking to, before we forget about every other girl and only care about Noah? I've been kind of fiending for it since I went to the end of episode 1.
レイヤーさんと知り合いだったの？
知り合いっていうかクラスメイト。
めっちゃ可愛いから芸能人か声優さんとかかなって思ってた。ニーニと同じアルバイトだったんだ。
あっちはバイトっていうか家業の手伝いみたいなもんだろ。
家業？イベント会社？
コロナグループのご令状。
コ
ーラのコロナ。
うわあ！コロナの令状とクラスメイト？
No, Corona the beer.
だな。
へえ、すごいな。社長令状か。ニーニ、ちゃんと仲良くなっときなよ。そんで定期的に焼肉おごってもらおう。
クズかよお前。
世の中金ですぜ、兄貴。
はいはい帰るぞ。
ちょい。
なんだよ。
どこ行くの？道違うでしょ。
駅に行く。俺ん家には入れん。
だよもういいじゃん。私もあそこ住みたい。
はいはいそういうのいいから帰るぞ。
Yeah, go back to your photo album of Kakeru sleeping faces.
はいお疲れさようなら。気をつけて帰れ。
雑。流れ作業的に見送りやがって。
そろそろ電車来るぞ。
分かったよもう。じゃあね、バイバイ。
はいバイバイ。
I watch as Sora walks through the ticket gate until she's out of sight. Okay, that's done. Now going home and killing time until dinner is the dignified route after this, but I'm supposed to encounter Sophie tonight. I don't know for sure when Iris started meddling with this world, but it's a safe bet to assume that it was at the same time as Sophie. And that means that Iris will catch on to me tonight at the earliest. I can move around without anyone trailing me until then. That being said, I'm not going to be able to come up with a plan to outwit Iris in just a few hours. Well, you don't have just a few hours. You have a lot of time. You can come up with a plan all you want. It just, I don't think you'd be able to execute it. Is what you should be thinking. Nevertheless, I don't want to waste what little time I have. No, I don't want to waste it. But what should I do? When's the earliest I get to know Yuki? Not till much later, I bet. So I guess my immediate goal is to make friends with Yuki ASAP. It would be best if I could make friends with her by today, but... Yeah, where would she be? Gotta think. How do I meet and get to know her? I don't know where she lives. I only know that she goes to the Kuho Girls Academy, but today's a Sunday. She's a regular at 9 Ball, but I only see her there after school. I don't remember seeing her there on a Sunday. But there's a chance that she'll drop by on the way back from the festival. Wait, was she even there at the festival? I don't really remember. I wouldn't be surprised if she would be, considering she's a massive weeb. And that is the closest thing to an anime con in this town that she could go to. Maybe wandering around town in hopes that I encounter her by chance will work. Man, what should I do? It's not like I'm going to be given a choice. I've made up my mind. First, I'll walk around the front of the station. Then, if I don't find her, I'll head over to 9 Ball. It's worth a shot. I won't get my hopes up too high, but I'll do whatever I can. So, where to first? Walking around here is fine, but I really should narrow down the places that Yuki is likely to be at. Or maybe a store with anime merch or an electronics store that sells video games. Speaking of games, would she go to the arcade? Go to an arcade? I said the because I don't think they have one outside of... What? I forgot the name. The one that they've been to multiple times. Yeah, round 2. I mean, maybe I should head up round 2 while I'm at... Out of the corner of my eye, I catch a glimpse of a familiar figure. What a coincidence! Man, fuck this game.
Oh.
I found her. There she is, right there, right under my nose. I don't know if she's on her way back from the festival or going shopping, but there she is, walking around with the same straight face. Wow, I can't believe I actually ran into her. Yeah, what a coincidence. This is insane. Today's my lucky day. I should call out to her. Yeah, let's do that. It's the right thing to do. Maybe you shouldn't do that. I'm glad he catches himself before he calls out to her. Okay, what's the holdup? Get out there and say something. Okay, never mind. He's still battling in his mind. No, I can't do it. No, Yuki. She'll think I'm trying to hit on her or something. I know Yuki, but the fact that I know her and she doesn't know me will make her think, huh? What? Are you a stalker? What a voice. It's no good. I can't think of any way to speak to her without coming across as suspicious. This is way too high of a hurdle for me, for a virgin like me. If only he remembered the parts of the branches that were in the 18 plus route, he wouldn't be calling himself a virgin anymore. He wouldn't be calling himself a virgin. Anyway, I gotta catch up before I lose sight of her. My rather pathetic inner conflict aside, Yuki continues to calmly walk on. She's moving away from the station. Maybe she's going to 9 Ball. If she's not going home yet, then I thankfully still have a window to say something to her. If she's going to 9 Ball, then I can have a drink and take my time to come up with a plan to talk to her too. Once Yuki diverges from the main street to a place with fewer people, she stops dead in her tracks. Does she know I'm tailing her? I fret to myself for a second, but it doesn't seem like she does. It'd be way too suspicious if I stopped too. So I walk past Yuki, turn the corner, and keep tabs on her from behind the building. And now I'm in full stalker mode. Great. Yuki makes sure nobody is looking and crouches down. Her eyes are fixed on the rear tire of a motorcycle parked in the street. It's a cat. An orange tabby, I believe. Its face is charming and cute. Yuki takes a long, hard look at the cat. The cat looks back at Yuki, slightly on guard. The deadlock continues for several seconds. She checks again to see if anyone is around. Anyone else is around. Readies herself and goes to pet the cat when it runs away from her. It bolted out of there at top speed the second she stuck out her hand. Swing and a miss. She doesn't feel good about that. She's very clearly disheartened after getting turned down by that stray. And that cat let her get really close, and just when she thought it was safe to take another step to pet it, it ran off. I have to wonder if Yuki has tried to do this multiple times in the past. Oh, probably. I'm guessing she's failed every single time. Well, it's most likely most likely explains why she was so happy when she got to pet those cats to her heart's content with Kosaka's powers. Heaving a sigh, Yuki stands up. Oh crap, she's coming this way. It seems safe to assume she's heading to Nineball, given the direction she's walking. So I could get to the cafe before she does, but if my assumption is wrong, this chance encounter is going to go right down the drain. I quickly hop over to a side path before Yuki comes. Then, after I let Yuki get a head start, I resume tailing her. I follow her for a few minutes, maintaining a set distance. As I suspected, she comes to Nineball. I wait about 5 minutes after Yuki enters the cafe before making my own way in.
いらっしゃいませ。
The waitress shows me to my seat. I order a cola and play with my phone until it arrives, and then I give it the occasional sip as I observe Yuki from afar. I was not expecting a CG, but a pleasant surprise. She gracefully enjoys a parfait and a cup of black tea as she reads a novel. There's my big chance to say something to her, but how should I break the ice? She's just gonna look at me like a weirdo if I come up to her out of the blue and say she's the key to defeating Iris or something. But would she? This is Yuki, after all. The same Yuki who started speaking about different dimensions when she first met a fellow Chuuni, Takamine. If I were to lay everything out to her straight, she'd probably take it all in stride, wouldn't she? In fact, she's probably the type that'd get all hyped up and say something like, "At last, the day has finally come." She already has the supernatural power with that artifact, so she wouldn't take it. She wouldn't think I'm lying to. No, wait. When does Yuki get the artifact in the first place? It's got to be later, right? I know she's the type to get excited over being able to use superpowers. No way would she be sipping on tea if the artifact has already chosen her. If I want her to believe my story, it'd be better to do so after I learn about the status of her artifact, but I should make my move. Even if she doesn't have her artifact now, she'll believe me. And even if she doesn't believe me, I'll play along with her. If I match her attitude, I doubt she'll treat me with hostility. Alright, my plan's set. I've got to use as much Chuuni power so I can muster to grab her attention, and I gotta match her freak. Then I build a friendly relationship. Let's do it. It's showtime. I stand up, taking my glass and check with me. I stand by Yuki's side and look down at her for a few seconds to make her aware of my presence. Next, I plop myself down in the seat in front of her. She takes a quick, suspicious glance at me. She quickly returns her eyes to the book and murmurs in an uninterested tone.
相席なら遠慮してほしい。
勇気の輪だな。
She peeks over at me again. Her eyes are clearly on guard now.
どこかで会った？
いや、まだだ。
まだ？
ああ。
I carefully choose my words. I try to mimic Yuki's words and tone as much as possible.
この世界線ではな。だが別の世界線ではもう会っている。
Her reaction is weak. She's not buying it. God, being the only one trying to sound cool is so friggin' embarrassing. Okay, how about this then?
俺はバルハラソサイエティの一員だ。
This... I'm getting secondhand embarrassment. Yuki's eyes shoot open. Yeah, some guy off the streets knowing the name of the organization you thought up as a kid is bound to be a shocker.
あなた、一体。
Yes, she's showing interest.
生異物は手に入れたか？まだみたいだな。
In that case, I shouldn't chance talking about it. Yuki should be coming into possession of an artifact in the next few days. When she does, Yuki will understand that I'm not just some Chuuni flirt. I mean, like, you could be. You could be. I'm sure that getting her to understand on her own will be more effective than me flapping my gums at her. Yuki's patented fake it until you make it strat.
紙とペンは持っているか？
持っているけど。
貸してくれ。
Yuki opens her bag while shifting her eyes around the cafe. I don't know if seeing Yuki so bewildered is a fresh take or just throwing me off my game. Either way, Yuki's so confused that she's kind of showing her true colors. But man, being the only one putting up an act is so embarrassing.
ありがとう。
I take the notebook and pen and open to a random page. I scribble down my phone number and Lime ID, and then I return it to Yuki.
生異物を入手したら連絡してくれ。怪しいよな。わかるよ。でもすぐにわかる。俺がなぜこんな話をしたのか。脅威が迫ってる。勇気の力が必要なんだ。連絡待ってる。じゃあ。
I take my check, stand up, and head to the register. I pay the check and leave the cafe. You mean bolt out of the cafe? I walk for a few steps and stop in place, letting out a deep sigh. Holy hell, that was embarrassing. I'm not cut out for acting like a Chuuni. That was my absolute limit. But I'm pretty sure it worked. That performance was bound to leave an impression. Now, whether it was a good or bad impression is anyone's guess. But even if it was bad, it should change for the better just as soon as she gets that artifact. Why do I have the feeling that it's not going to happen? I'm pretty sure she'll consider me an ally and give me a call too. And if I screw it up... Anyway, I'll head back and wait for her to call. All that bad acting is really tugging me out.